Hello everybody, my name is Batsuray, and I'm back from the dead to give you guys more information on this new news on Call of Duty 2020, which is now going to be Black Ops 5. Caramba. So if you don't know, this article came out today on Kotaku. I don't know if I'm saying that correctly, but who cares, by Jason Schreier. This article basically goes over Raven and Sledgehammer, who were making a Call of Duty game set during the Cold War, most likely involving Vietnam, hopefully. As of very recently, that's now changed. Now Treyarch is in charge of leading Call of Duty Black Ops 5 for 2020. Oh boy. Treyarch will take creative leadership on this new Black Ops, while Raven and Sledgehammer will serve as support studios for the game, transforming the work they've done on their own single player story mode into a campaign for Black Ops 5, which will also be set during the Cold War. This may be a welcome return for fans who criticised the lack of a campaign in Black Ops 4. It will likely be a cross-gen game type to coincide with the launch of the next PlayStation and Xbox, which had also expected in the fall of 2020. Oh boy. So basically there, if I read out, it looks like we're in a Cold War type of game with the help from Raven and Sledgehammer for Black Ops 5, which I'm not too sure about, but I'll continue reading on from quotes and shit I've got gathered up here. What this means is, rather than getting 3 years to make their next game after Black Ops 4, Treyarch will just have just 2. Plus, on top of this, Treyarch is still working on the final 2 DLCs for the game, which could cause them to rush to get ahead of schedule for the next game, which is a very, very severe problem, because if they start to rush these 2 final DLCs, it means that patching might take longer for maybe not for DLCs. If they release it one at a time, there might be a few problems, lingering in the map, the DLC, which could take up a bit more time for the staff to fix them, because obviously rushing can cause that. But some of the companies say they're not pleased about that, and they're already bracing for brutal overtime hours like they faced last year on Black Ops 4. Others have told Kotaku they're excited about the change, as they have a solid game plan that isn't likely to change drastically, unlike their last 2 projects. What that makes me seem is some of the company is are not happy about this. Obviously, they've spent more brutal overtime hours away from their families and working on a game, which is tough for anybody with a family. But yeah, some of them are excited about the change. They do have a solid game plan, which they've come out and said, and hopefully it doesn't change drastically to hinder on time. But we all know Activision will make them rush. Also, this is about news I did find in the article. The past year has also been rough for Sledgehammer. In February 2018, Kotaku broke the news that Sledgehammer's co-founders Michael Condrey and Glenn Schofield had left the studio, although Activision spun it as a promotion, saying they'd taken on new executive duties. It was very clearly an ousting, and the two quietly exited shortly afterwards. Earlier this year, Condrey started a new Silicon Valley studio with the publisher 2K, where he's recruited dozens of Sledgehammer staff. The studio has been hemorrhaging employees over the past few months, much to the dismay of those who remain. One primary reason behind this Call of Duty upheaval, according to 2 people familiar with happenings at Activision, is the tension between Sledgehammer and Raven, whose staff have said to have argued frequently during the past year of development on Call of Duty 2020. 2 people familiar with the project describe it as a mess. Now, both studios will serve as support for Treyarch as the publisher prepares to release Black Ops 5. So basically, what's happening here is that Sledgehammer and Raven are 2 little kids, and they're arguing over a fucking toy, and I don't know what to do with that. Well, I want to play with them. They're arguing over something really stupid, like 2 children would normally do, and sure, it's like the father coming in and saying, "No, Camet, you're gonna be working together, and you're gonna work with me for a year." It sounds dead weird analogy, but who gives a shit? Overall, this seems like a mess. I wouldn't be surprised if the game had the same problems as Black Ops 4 did upon its launch, but Treyarch are getting the help from Raven and Sledgehammer, so the game could turn out fine. But I actually don't know. Only time will tell if the game comes out without any problems. What I mean by that is, basically, if you remember back to the launch of Black Ops 4, we had blue screens galore. You could barely do the Easter egg solo. You could do it solo, but there was also the chance of you running into that blue screen. Easter egg steps being changed, being more difficult. Stuff like that. Stuff was happening to the game because it was rushed. Some of the steps weren't added in correctly, and stuff had to be changed. Timings weren't right. Obviously, Treyarch were a bit of a fluster and had to deal with the community and still work basically on an unfinished, a near finished game, fixing on little problems here and there. And yeah, there was tons of problems at the start, which I am hoping, and I barely say this, I'm hoping with the help from Sledgehammer and Raven that, you know, they can figure it out. Because Sledgehammer, I don't think they really did zombies. It was mainly the Raven team that did zombies for World War II and Advanced Warfare. So I'm guessing Treyarch will put the Raven team to the zombies and Sledgehammer to multiplayer and story. Have both teams working a certain part of the story and zombies. You know, have them sorted out, carried out. So they'll be doing something they know and also learning from the Treyarch way. But then also this leaves the question, what about 2021? Who's going to be developing the next Call of Duty after that? Could it be Infinity Ward? Could it be a new company coming in? Wait, I generally don't know. It's kind of a shock as well. But anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.